We in these streets.
Everybody, y'all know what it is, man. This is Three Kings Boxing. We back after all the fights took place this weekend, man. Of course, always helping me, joining me doing this, man. My man Prodigy, what's going on, family?
Some good fights that went down. Is there's some fighters that deserve some respect. And it's not just the two that we got as the picture of this show. Some other fighters that deserve some respect after tonight's fights, bro, and today's fights, by the way.
Most definitely, man. Man. I got to hold my head in the shame of it all.
Well, let's do a tally, right? I was thinking about it before. And did you pick Mayer or Baumgardner in the prediction video?
I actually picked Mayer.
Okay. So you got Mayer and a stupid one. I don't know why you picked Anthony Dirrell. I don't know what the fuck you be thinking sometimes, bro. I think you do the devil's advocate, or you pick the other side, just kind of spice shit up. That's what I'm gonna say you're doing. Cause I know you're smarter than picking Anthony Dirrell, an old dog, nigga. We're not talking about a new dog. We're talking about an old motherfucker that's getting ready to get put down. They took this nigga to the Humane Society because this motherfucker was roaming the streets and shit. You know what I'm saying? Pick this nigga up in a paddy wagon and getting ready to put this nigga down. That's Anthony Dog Dirrell right now, given his age. And you picked him to win. I don't understand. But I'm going to chalk that up to you just trying to play devil's advocate whenever I say some shit. That's what that was. Surely you didn't think Anthony Dirrell was going to beat Caleb Plant.
What I need to do is take my ass back upstairs, get out this basement. Being down here, I guess it made me look. I guess the low the basement oxygen ain't get to my head, man.
Yeah, right. Second Ezra, this motherfucker got knocked out. It's not just by pillow hands. He got knocked out by pillow hand's lead hand. The lead hand is the weak hand, bro. He didn't even get knocked out by the power hand. He got knocked out by the fucking lead hand and was out of there. He was dead for like 2 minutes. He was dead. They had to revive this nigga. Oh, man, what? I told y'all this dude was garbage, man. And remember, motherfuckers, they ain't gonna be in here. Chris, the author, there's a couple other cats. Nah, man, Anthony, man, 2K being too harsh, man.
Hey,
he not a bad fighter. The nigga's garbage. I told y'all he was.
Hey, Prodigy, the nigga got knocked out like this.
Man, that's embarrassing, man. Come on, man. And he made Caleb Plant look like this nigga got Gennady Golovkin left hook power, bruh. Get the fuck out of here. He's too old. That's what I was trying to tell you. He's 38 years old. And the style that he has doesn't transition well given his age, bruh. I told y'all this. Now, I didn't say he was going to get knocked out, but I said Caleb Plant was going to dominate. He did better than dominate. I said the only anomaly here was, or the only unknown, let me say this, the only unknown was that we didn't know what Caleb Plant's mental makeup was going to be after getting knocked out by Canelo. However, I still felt Plant was going to dominate. This is an easy one. I don't know how you missed this one, bro. That's easy money, man.
Man, like you said, man, I just thought the mental makeup, I was like, hey, man, this the mentalness, him getting tired. But shit. I say, hey, man, Caleb Plant's a front runner. I did say the nigga was a front runner.
I told you he was going to get him towards the end. I said, any rounds that Darrell wins is going to be early.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, Caleb Plant is going to get him later. Even though you had mentioned Caleb Plant's stamina issue, I still felt Plant would have more in the tank than Anthony Dirrell will later in the rounds. That's exactly what we saw.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember you said something about Darrell winning by split decision 7-5 or 6-5, something like that. I said Darrell's gonna get a knockdown. You said, yeah.
Yeah. I said he gonna win by knock. I said no, he has to win by knockout. I said,
That's when you
Dirrell
said
gotta
that
win.
afterwards. Yeah, he's got to win by knockout. And I said he's gonna knock him out. I think he's gonna get him. All right, man. Man, I don't know what that. I don't know, man. I don't know what that was, man.
But here's the thing with that. You know what though, man? So I guess it's safe to say Darrell, he's gone, dog.
Man, listen.
Because
He
he
should
did
have
all
been
that
out.
talking about Plant not having no power.
Right.
A lot of talking.
But listen, man. He's never been that good.
Yeah.
He is a C- level fighter, bro. He's been that his whole career. He's now a D level fighter at 38. He's not good, never has been. You know what I'm saying? Shit, now I'm about to. Before I was saying, yeah, he's like motherfucking you know what I'm saying, Anthony Peterson. And then I was like, damn, that's kind of disrespectful. Fuck that. That's correct now. He is like Anthony Peterson.
Yep, that's stand corrected. You stand corrected, fam. You stand corrected, fam.
Nah, man, Anthony Dirrell runs his mouth way too much. I remember the run-in I had with him and shit, you know, on the interview, you know, me and my man Darrell had with him and shit years back. Runs his mouth way too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's one of those guys that talks a lot of shit because he feels like he's better than what he really is. Understand? I keep telling you guys, he had that problem with Avni Yildirim. Avni Yildirim is terrible, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's a D-level fighter in his prime. You know what I'm saying? And he had trouble with Yildirim. When he won by technical decision, he was barely winning I think he was only winning by a round on the judges' scorecards. He was barely winning, guys. It was Yildirim. You know what I'm saying? It's the same nigga that Chris Eubank Jr. knocked out in 2 rounds. I'll say that again. It's the same motherfucker that Chris Eubank Jr. knocked out in 2 rounds.
He was standing over them like this.
Oh. Made Chris Eubank Jr. look like he's some sort of monster or some shit. And Anthony Dirrell struggled with that guy. How the fuck was he gonna beat Caleb Plant? This is easy money. Now they're talking about Caleb Plant. Let's break the fight down before we do that real quick.
Okay.
Honestly, man, it was somewhat of what we had already envisioned. You know, Anthony Dirrell started out strong. He was putting pressure on Caleb Plant. And I think you said Caleb Plant was a front runner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in this fight, he wasn't so much of as a front runner as he has been in the past, right? He actually, in the early rounds, Anthony Dirrell had some success. Now, Caleb did take the majority of the early rounds, but he started losing some of the middle rounds. Anthony Dirrell's, you know, his thing was, I felt like Anthony Dirrell felt like Caleb Plant couldn't hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was going to put pressure on Caleb Plant and force him to make Anthony respect his power. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And putting Caleb Plant on the back foot, that was giving the judges an idea or the thought that Anthony Dirrell was winning the ring generalship battle, right? Effective aggression and ring generalship. Caleb Plant early on was more so using his shots as a rangefinder. He was trying to get comfortable, trying to tame the dog or the old dog, or as my man J.L. Davis said, old Yeller. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to tame old Yeller. You know what I'm saying? But what ended up happening was Caleb Plant got comfortable because Anthony Dirrell, in my opinion, was starting to gas. And I said this in the prediction. He might get tired chasing Caleb Plant around the ring. And I feel like that's what happened. And then that's when Caleb Plant got comfortable. And then he started sitting down on his fucking punches in the latter half of the fight. Sitting down on his jabs even, bro. Setting up his straight rights. Anthony Dirrell was running into each and every shot that Caleb Plant was putting into combinations in the latter half of that fight. And then you got the knockout. Left hook to the body. Come up top. Left hook to the head. Equals dead. Equals Anthony Dirrell is dead, bro. That's what happened. I don't
I mean,
see. I don't see anything. Right, MB 2.0 knocked out by a nigga named Sweet Hands. Right. I don't see Anthony Dirrell going anywhere from this point in his career. If he still wants to collect paychecks, he can fight, guys that are coming up, essentially become a gatekeeper. And he might beat a lot of those guys coming up, right? Because 168 outside of the top fighters in the division is kind of slim. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see Anthony Dirrell fight Edgar Berlanga, somebody like that now. You know what I'm saying? What's that guy's name that just I can't think of his fucking name. One of the prospect watches you have.
Krista Mabili.
Yeah, him and William Skull. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like to see him fight guys like that. See what those guys have against, some of the former world champions in the division, right?
Yeah.
That's where Anthony Dirrell is now. Honestly, that's where he was before. You know what I'm saying? But that's really where he is now. If you had any doubts before, that's where the fuck he is now. You know what I'm saying? As far as Caleb Plant, somebody was in the building. And his name was Jamal Charlo. And he was talking mad shit to Jamal Charlo. So they're talking about, I didn't know this, Caleb Plant versus Jamal Charlo. What do you think about that, man?
I actually like that fight. And here's the thing, though. I'm assuming this fight gonna have to probably take place at 168. Caleb Plant can't get down to no 160, or maybe they do a catch weight. But I like the
Jamal's
fight.
Going to 168, bro.
Okay, so what's up? Why are you? David Benavidez has been like all in your ass. So no David Benavidez.
You already know. You already know. We already know this.
No.
You already fucking know this.
I mean,
we showed the Mike Tyson clip several times. Mike, say his name. Mike was say them names.
God damn,
y'all know what it is. David Benavidez, and shut the fuck up. Now, he didn't want to talk about him. We already know this.
No,
He's not fighting David.
He didn't, and that's the sad part about it right there. It's like, okay, do you not understand what this looked like? You'll fight Plant, but not the nigga that dropped the P word on you. Huh?
Man, anyway, nigga, what do you think about Jamal Charlo and Caleb? We already killed that. What do you think about Jamal Charlo and fucking Caleb Plant? He ain't fighting David.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good fight. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I think that's a good fight. But here's the thing, though. There's a lot of things that Charlo causes problems for with Caleb Plant. His athleticism. Charlo does also have a very good jab, right? And of course, unlike like we talk about Dog, all right, you like we talk about that wheel shit. You're not finna hit Charlo and knock him out, and Charlo can definitely bring some heat. So that would be a good fight. That would be a good fight to me. I think that fight, if it's gonna happen, you're looking at sometime like I'll say probably maybe late. It's either early beginning or in the middle of 2023. Caleb Plant in that fight right there, in my honest opinion, he's gonna have to move a lot, man. He can't stand in front of Charlo. He can't try to stand there. He's gonna have to move. He's gonna have to pick up that jab. He's gonna have to I would jump on Charlo. If you coming up to my division, you gonna put on the extra weight, I'm gonna jump on your ass. And that's probably what he should do. Jump on him. Start going to that motherfucking body. Test that extra weight that dude is putting on right there. Good fight, man. I would love to see it, and I hope it happens.
Yeah, I don't think Caleb Plant. This is the problem. Caleb Plant has the tools to outbox Jamal Charlo, but the problem is he still puts his back on the ropes. He still doesn't know how to spin off them ropes, man. He still doesn't know how to really 100% keep the fight in the middle of the ring, right? Also, I think Jamal Charlo has great timing and reaction time. My man Blake said in the chat that he's too slow, but that doesn't really matter. I don't think he's significantly slower than Caleb Plant. I honestly don't think he's actually slower than Caleb Plant, in my opinion. Maybe footwork, but not hand speed, right? Yeah. But his reaction time and his accuracy, in my opinion, is better than Caleb Plant's. It's a good fight. I just don't think Caleb Plant, the way he fights, would beat a Jamal Charlo. But it's definitely a fight that I would like to see.
I would definitely. I mean, actually, it's the fight. If we're being honest, it's actually a fight that both of these guys, and especially Charlo.
Oh yeah.
Especially Charlo. We've been begging for you to fight somebody. So this is actually a fight that both of these guys need. And Hey man, I can't sit and say props to him just yet. I need to see it. I need to see the ink, the paper, and the date.
I mean, he sits standing in the crowd beating his chest and shit while Caleb Plant's talking shit to him from the ring, and they got the cameras on him. I'm looking at him like, "What the fuck you beating your chest for, nigga? Like you've been doing shit in boxing, nigga. Like, you
Nah, yeah,
know what I'm saying?
he do be doing it.
If that was Jamel, then yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, bet. Beat your chest. But this is Jamal. This is the other nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
The one that ain't done shit, really. In what, the last how long? You know what I'm saying? I mean, Devryanchenko. I mean, what, nigga?
I'll go back to Julian Williams, to be honest with you. J-Rock. Probably the
Yeah,
last
that's
time.
his best win. Honestly, it's J-Rock.
J-Rock.
And Austin Trout was not what he used to be after he got obliterated by Erislandy Lara. He was no longer, you know what I'm saying, in my opinion, a top tier fighter, right?
Yep.
Sergey Devryanchenko had already lost to Gennady Golovkin in a fight that he probably should have won, but I think that demoralized his ass. And as you can see, hasn't been the same since. You know what I'm saying? That fight. He also lost to Daniel Jacobs before that. I mean, who? You know what I'm saying? Who we talking about here, bro? Dennis Hogan? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of meat on the bone with Jamal, man. So you beating your chest, but I ain't seen shit in years, man.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. Like we said, 5 years. This is the fight both these guys need, especially Jamal. Jamal needed more, in my opinion, than Caleb Plant. At least Caleb Plant got in there with Canelo Alvarez. He didn't win, but at least he got in there with him,
At
right?
least he got in there, yeah.
Yeah, so, hey, man. Hey, make that fight happen, man. All right, man. Next up, Alycia Baumgardner and Mikaela Mayer. Now, my man Prodigy pointed something out, and I'm for whatever reason, they was booing the shit out of her over there in the UK, Alycia Baumgardner, because she won, right? Now, there are some people that feel that Mikaela Mayer won. There's some people, who go back and forth. We different on it, right? In my honest opinion, this was probably the first time when I scored a fight. I tried to score the fight. Okay, if I'm a judge and I don't know certain things about a fighter, how would I score this fight, right? And I know I picked Mikaela Mayer. I said Mikaela Mayer was going to win this fight. I said something. I think we said something like 6-4, 7-3, something like that, right? Okay,
6-4. Yep.
Yep. I actually scored this fight for Baumgardner. I think it was 96-94. Now let me tell you. Let me tell you guys the 2 rounds to me that I think were crucial rounds that probably swung the judges in Baumgartner's way. Round 3 and maybe round 10. And here's why. The harder power shots. There was some in round 3. Let me say this. I definitely thought Alicia Bumgarner won the first 2 rounds, but in round 3, you can clearly see the skill set of Mayer started coming because she started throwing those jabs. Right. But I think the judges was more influenced by the power shots and the quick shots of Mikaela Mayer, even though they weren't landing. Like she would throw 3, land 1. Even though they weren't landing, I think the judges were more influenced by that. And then it also didn't help that that Mayer was doing, more of the following, and then there were times she would even take a step back. In round 10, now round 10 is actually the biggest one for me because you can make the argument that Mikaela Mayer won that round, but I could see the judges again being more impressed with just what Alicia Bumgarner was doing, with just throwing her hands and just throwing her hands out there, moving and coming forward. So those 2 rounds to me, I can see if I'm a judge sitting there and I'm not looking at the jab, or I'm not looking at that body work that Mayer was doing, and I'm just looking at what punches are catching my eyes more, it would be those power shots by Alycia Baumgardner. But make no mistake about it, I have no problem with anybody saying that they feel that Mayer should have won that fight.
I'm very disappointed in Mikaela Mayer. And here's the deal. We said prior to the fight in the prediction video that it was her fight to lose. She's way taller, has a much longer reach, but she still allowed the shorter fighter early in the fight to outbox her, bro. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, what's happening here? What is she doing wrong? Well, she's stepping that foot forward, way forward, before she lunges in with a jab. 2 things you don't do, right? Second thing, while she does that, Alicia's coming over the top of that fucking jab, but she's still not understanding the timing that Alycia Baumgardner had on her. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If she's timing your jab, then that means you need to vary it, right? She had no variation on that jab. It was the same lunging jab, right? That actually put her in range so that Alycia Baumgardner could come over the top. That was the first part of the fight. Granted, I agree with Bo. I had Alycia win in the first 2 rounds, and I had Mayer win in the second. The third and the fourth round. But it was more the same as the fight went on. You see what I'm saying? And it got to the point, literally after the second round, it looked like Mikaela Mayer needed to change the game plan a bit. Not necessarily change the game plan, but she just really needed to put variation on her shots. You know what I'm saying? This girl was looking to knock you out. So what do you do when somebody tries to knock you out, right? What are you supposed to do, Bo, when you got a shorter fighter that is relying on counter-punching ability to try to knock you out? What do you do?
First, you're supposed to feint, then jab.
Exactly, bro.
Throw some feints.
I didn't see no feints.
I ain't see none.
I didn't see no feints. I didn't really see upper body movement from Mikaela Mayer. She was just throwing that lunging jab and getting fucking countered every single time. Now, she did start to come on because she applied some pressure behind that jab. Before, she was jabbing to stand on the outside or staying at mid-range distance because she put herself in range. If she was jabbing and stay on the outside, well, then, it would have turned Alicia Bumgarner into a one-dimensional fighter, right? A come-forward fighter, much like what Devin Haney did to George Kambosos twice, right? Turned him into a one-dimensional fighter, trying to figure out a way to get underneath the jab. And what he was doing, he kept switching, but we'll get to that later. He kept switching his stances to try to confuse Devin Haney so he can get underneath that jab. That's what Alicia Baumgardner would have had to have done if Mikaela Mayer would have stayed on the outside behind that jab and not lunged into range, right?
Agreed.
And Baumgardner probably already knew she did this because she actually did it against Mava Hamadouche. She would lunge into range, and then they'd end up in a firefight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, she's laughing at her, smiling at her as she's countering her because she knows she's going to get in the range so that she can get her opportunities. But then in the middle round, something changed. She was no longer jabbing and trying to stay on the outside, even though she wasn't no longer there. She was jabbing and putting some pressure behind that jab. That pressure was making Alycia Baumgardner take steps back, so she was no longer as accurate with her counter punching, right? When she's planted and she's not having to fight off her back foot, her counter punching's on point. When she goes on her back foot, she's no longer planted. Counterpunching becomes a little bit wild. That's what Mikaela Mayer was doing. She kind of took a lot of those middle rounds. That's what made the fight close.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that.
But for some odd fucking reason, she stopped doing that in the championship rounds, which would be rounds 9 and 10. Why the fuck did she stop doing that? What was Corona and her other trainer? I can't remember her head trainer.
Al Mitchell.
Al something. Yeah, Al Mitchell. Thank you, Al Mitchell. What was Corona and Al Mitchell saying to her that made her change what was working? Or maybe they didn't say anything. Why did she change what was working? Because she needed the championship rounds, right? Mm-hmm. To bank the fight. And for some reason, she allowed Alicia Baumgardner, again, cycle those comments, again, to get those fucking opportunities so that she could actually take the fight from underneath her, bro. Close fight. I think Mikaela Mayer lost it at the end, guys. She had a decent game plan. She did. To start off, she didn't. But then when she got to the middle rounds, it was a good game plan. But she took her foot off the gas, man. And went back to what she was doing early on in the fight, and that's what fucked her up in the long run. Judges had it 96-94. Two of them had it 96-94 for Alicia. The other one had it 97-93 for Mayer. I don't know what that judge was watching. He only gave Alycia Baumgardner 3 rounds. I have no fucking clue what that judge was watching. But 96-94, if you go Baumgardner or 96-94 Mayer, I'm more inclined to lean the Baumgartner way. But if it were Mayer, I wouldn't be mad, right?
Mm.
But I lean more towards Baumgartner. I think she edged this fight because Mayer gave it to her, dog. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Baumgartner. She took the opportunities that Mayer was giving her. But at the end of the day, we told you this was going to be a fight where it's Mayer's fight to lose. And that's exactly what the fuck she did. Shout out to Modern King, put $2 on it. He said, respect, my man.
You know, here's the thing about this fight, right? And it was something me and you said. We talked about emotion. We said that Mayer likes to fight off emotion. You know why she switched her game plan? Because I listen, when she started coming with that jab and putting something behind that jab, like you said, and then started coming with that right hand, and like we had talked about in the breakdown, she had Alicia Bumgarner moving. And I told you guys, Alicia Bumgarner, what I said you guys, Alicia Bumgarner looks to counter. She's not somebody that likes to lead. She wants to counter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And there was a huge mistake Mayer kept making every freaking time she was throwing her punch. She throw that jab and lean down. You're making yourself small when you do that.
Absolutely. Yep.
And when she was doing it, oh, at least like, oh shit, you gonna keep doing that? You gonna keep doing that?
Right. Give me that head.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna keep doing that? You gonna keep doing that? Even though she was touching her with the jab, the problem is when you make yourself small, Baumgartner can still come over the top. Even if you hit her with the jab, it don't stop her from hitting you. And I'm like, yo, why is she dipping her head and leaning? You jab like this, keep your head straight. I'm like, what is she doing? Now I'm thinking, okay, come with something behind that. If you're gonna lean, come with the right hand to the right. She didn't come with nothing behind that. You know why she couldn't come with nothing behind that? Because the counter punching with either the overhand, with either the right hand or the left hook.
Mm-hmm.
Alycia Baumgardner kept it on her with that.
Yep.
And it was causing Mayer to think more. And that was, I noticed the problem that Mayer had is when she started to think. When she, in those middle rounds, when she was letting it flow, she was having the better advantage.
Right.
But when she was being had to think, that's when she stopped having the advantage. Another thing, her feet. I don't know why she was in the puncher stance with her feet being so wide. You're in there with someone that's looking to counterpunch you and looking to move when they counterpunch you. Her feet being too wide, and that's another reason why I think, you know, like you had mentioned, she wasn't putting nothing on that jab. Her feet's too wide. So when she's jabbing, she has to lunge because look how wide her feet are. If she kept her feet at proper boxer distance, she could have did that and been just fine.
Yep.
There was I'm with you as far as the disappointment is concerned, but I will say this: I think Alycia Baumgardner showed Mikaela, because Mikaela Mayer always she never believed Alycia Baumgardner was as skilled as she was, and that was that was a huge flaw. I thought that was a huge flaw right there, and I got to give it to Alycia Baumgardner. She knew Mikaela Mayer didn't like her smiling, laughing. It irked her that she did it. Remember in the face-off, she told me, stop smiling. And Baumgart like, what?
Yeah.
Well, what? Stop smiling. What, you think this is funny? She said, no, I'm laughing because you're mad. And I'm like, don't you see she playing on your emotions like she's playing with you?
Yeah, I think it was a situation where Mikaela Mayer didn't really respect Alycia Baumgardner. I'm gonna tell you something, man. My man W-O-E, I don't know how to say his name, but he in here said that Alycia Baumgardner surprised him. He said that earlier. I'm a 100 agreements with him in that. She surprised the shit out of me as well because I didn't expect the type of slickness and counterpunching ability that she showed in this fight. Now, I knew she had it, right? We saw it against Terry Harper, right?
Sure did.
We knew she had it, but we didn't know that she had it to that fucking degree.
No.
See what I'm saying? That she could actually carry this ability out against a fighter that does have good boxing ability from the outside. We didn't think it could be done to that degree. We knew she would win rounds. We knew the fight would be close, but we didn't know that that particular skill set would be the dominating factor in her winning the fight, bro.
I agree with that.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Because I always go back to the Christine Dartel fight. And I'm like, yo, it was like night and day. Her fighting, and I understand these styles are different. Dartel, actually, Mi Choi, who is the WBA champion that Alycia Baumgardner is getting ready to try to fight next to become undisputed at 130 pounds. Choi's style is literally just like Christine Dartel's. So to be honest with you guys, that fight is actually going to be a more interesting fight because Alycia Baumgardner is going to have to show that she could actually beat that style that she lost to when she fights Choi. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So Mikaela Mayer doesn't have the same style as Christine Dartel. However, she is a great boxer from the outside. And a great boxer from the outside that has a huge reach advantage and height advantage can nullify a slick counterpunching style. It can. Yes, so we didn't think she could do that to this degree. I'm interested, and this is going to kind of lead into the next part of the segment here. I'm interested to see what the fuck she does against Mi Choi. Now, I understand Choi doesn't have a lot of power, right? A lot of these girls don't have a lot of power, right?
No, really, yeah.
But I'm interested in seeing what the fuck she does against her because Choi is relentless pressure and she never gets fucking tired. Yes, she gets hit, but that motherfucker is literally pressure from round 1 to 10, bro. 100% pressure. And that's exactly what Alycia Baumgardner lost to, guys. That fight right there, I hope Choi signs on the dotted line for that motherfucker, man. Where do you think Mayer goes, bro?
You know what? That's a very good point because I was just going to say, I'm curious to see if that fight happened because remember, the reason why we got Baumgardner versus Mayer is because Choi had all these damn demands. And because Baumgart was trying to fight her at first, then fight Mayer, and then Choi had all these demands. Like every time they agreed to one thing, there was another demand and another demand and another demand, and finally Top Rank jumped in and said, "Listen, here's a boatload of money. Let's go. Let's make this fight between Mayer and fucking Baumgart." So I'll be interested to see. Choi might have watched this fight, and this way I think she'll take the fight now because I think she sat back and she watched Baumgart fight and said, "Oh, okay, yeah." I could beat that. Yep. I could beat that. Make that fight. Sign me up, y'all. Yep. Because, and honestly, I think it was also a good strategy for Choi to wait because now it's going to be worth more money because this is for undisputed now. See?
Yep.
By being for at first when it was unification, it was one thing. This for undisputed. So hey, guess what, y'all? It's gonna be more. This now has now gotten to be more money. It's kind of like what you kind of like the Caleb Plant situation. People forget Caleb Plant was originally supposed to fight Canelo Alvarez, and the zone stepped in and said, "Hold on, there, sir. We got 2 middleweights over here. What's wrong with you?" And then all of a sudden, the Plant fight became more money because it was for undisputed. I think that's the same thing with Choi. She's definitely gonna go on. Because she even said it at the end when they asked her, they say the fight was close. You think you're gonna rematch? They said, nah, that girl don't get no rematch.
Yeah, and you know what, man? I can't get mad at that. Like I was telling my wife when she said that, I can't get mad at that, bro. No. Because she's going for undisputed. Yep. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can't get mad at that. Mayer had the opportunity, and she gave it away.
I can't get mad at it because shame on you and your team for not having a rematch clause.
Boom.
Okay, that's why I can't get mad at it because shame on you for not making sure you guys had a rematch clause.
Boom.
That's why I can't get mad at it.
Can't, bro. Nope. So I mean, they interview her afterwards. They're like, "So what do you think you're gonna do next after this loss?" And she said, basically she won on 130. That's what she said. I mean 135. Excuse me. Yep. That's what she got to do. Because Alycia Baumgardner's like, "Man, fuck that bitch. I'd have whooped her ass. I win." That's what she did. I win and ran away with all the belts.
All the belts. All your belts. He ran away with all your belts, man.
Yep. And the winner by split decision, you know what I'm saying? By 1 round, Alycia Baumgardner. You want a rematch? Nope, I win.
I win. Yeah.
And I can't get mad, bro. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Mayer's fault.
And man, I'm telling you, I think we was talking about this, and I don't know whether it was me or you that mentioned it. We said, "Hey man, this is not the same Alycia Baumgardner that got sitting down the prospect mode by Christine Linder. She wasn't the same. That's not the same fighter." And I do not believe in my honest hearts. I think that when that fight started and the success that Baumgardner was having, I think it shocked Mayer. Like, damn, hold on, wait a minute. Oh shit, this girl is moving. She's slick. Hold on, I didn't see this against Terry Harper. Wait a goddamn minute, you know. And I think that got her. But hey, man, hey, props out to her. She took the fight. She won the fight. The only thing that I hate, and maybe I'm nitpicking, Prodigy, why do fighters get mad when you got two guys fighting? Tell me what you got two people fighting. When you got to pick a winner. So why do fighters want to sit up there? All you haters that died. Hold on, I got to pick a winner here. Why I'm a hater because I got to pick a winner? Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I hate when I hear them say that, man. All y'all that died. Hold on, man. Lady, baby girl, we got to pick a winner.
Well, fighters are in their feelings. Every fighter believes they're the best fighter in the world, except, you know, if you're a fucking journeyman and you out here 1 in 162, you might not think you're the best fighter in the world. You know what I'm saying? But if you're fighting at a high level and you've got all these wins and minimal losses, and you've got all these wins in a row and you got belts and shit, or, you know, you might just be whooping everybody's ass without belts, those fighters are going to think they're the best fighters in the world. Yeah. So when somebody picks against them, naturally they're going to get upset. I mean, I don't have no problem with her getting on Twitter and saying that shit. You know, it is what it is. The problem I do have is what Mikaela Mayer did after the fight. You know, but I understand why she did it, but it was still, it made her look like a sore loser, right?
Yeah, it did.
She, you know, got her thumb down and shit. And, you know, Baumgardner came over there and gave her a hug, and they hugged, and then she looked at her like, yeah, whatever, bitch. Gave her that, rolled her eyes at her like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? But she won the fight. The fight could have gone either way. I'm leaning towards Baumgardner, and that's who got the win. I have no problem with that. You shouldn't either. It was a close fight. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I understand where Mayer's coming from, but I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. But she's coming from a space where there was so much beef between these two that now that the fight is over with, she has to accept that she actually lost to a person that she hates. You see what I'm saying?
And that she feels she's better than.
Right. It was the same shit with Wilder and Fury. And when Wilder got his ass knocked the fuck out in the third round, what did he say to Fury? No, I don't respect you. No, I don't respect you. Right? It's the same shit. Wilder feels like he was cheated for some goddamn reason in 2 of the 3 fights. Actually, all 3 fights. Right? And he felt like he should have, you know, should have been vindicated. He should have vindicated the cheating that he felt happened. And he couldn't get vindication. So now it's, I don't respect you. That's what Mayer was doing.
Yep.
Bitch, I can beat you. These judges just cheated me. Fuck you. I get where she's coming from, but at the end of the day, it makes her look really bad, bro.
It definitely makes her look really bad. And I want to know how many of you motherfuckers in this chat bust one on yourself and y'all saw Alicia Bumgarner up there twerking.
Oh yeah, I know.
How many of y'all bust on yourself?
Man, niggas was, hands was indiscreetly in their pants and shit. Wives walked in on them. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, honey. This was all out. This shit was a peep show, dog. Real talk. Hey, look, I'm gonna do something y'all niggas gonna get mad at. I didn't like that shit, dog. Because women out here always talking, the women today with this whole women rights movement shit going on, they talking about how niggas objectify women, right? Well, you just gave us a fucking reason to do it. You got your ass hanging out underneath that goddamn them damn shorts. Why the fuck she ain't wearing those long tights that she normally wears? Mm-hmm. She normally wears tights that go down to her a little bit past or a little bit above mid thigh, right? So when the flaps of her shorts come up, you just see spandex. Yep. But today on a bigger stage, her flaps came up. We see all ass. No. Now as a man, I'm like, hey, you know, this is what it is.
Right.
However, right, as a debater, when it comes to this women rights shit, and y'all talking about how men objectify women, well, you just fucking gave us a reason to do it.
Yep.
Why would you do that?
You know, you talking about something, you want to be treated fairly, be on the same pay scale, and you want to be taken seriously. Well, you want me to take you seriously doing that?
Exactly.
You want me to take you seriously doing that right there? Sorry, I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry. You know, when my dick get out of my face, maybe we can talk about me taking you seriously.
I mean, I'm not really attracted to her anyway, but I'm just saying, bro, like that shit, it was a step backwards in my opinion. Now, men, hey, we don't give a fuck from a man's perspective. We like, whatever, nigga, right? But from a logical perspective, understand, women out there, she took a step backwards for y'all in this whole women's rights shit. I'm just saying.
Yes, she did.
But that's a whole nother conversation, man. Let me get to my man Bison Hog 28's comment. He said, not to make this about race, but every matchup today was black versus white, and black people won every time. Really weird why all the matchups were set up this way. I don't put any stock in that. I wasn't even looking at that. My man Blake got to it before I could. He said, not every black fighter won. Darrell got his ass slept. Exactly. I mean, yeah, Caleb Plant fucked it up for.
Well, hold on.
Excuse me. Not Caleb. I'm sorry. Anthony Dirrell fucked it up. I'm sorry.
Well, hold on. Caleb Plant's black.
No, he's not. He's white. Look at him. What the fuck are you talking about? No. He's white.
No, he's just light skinned.
No, I don't do honorary shit. He's white. I don't do that. Caleb Plant's white, sir. Nigga has blue eyes, nigga. The only niggas that have blue eyes are old folks. When them motherfuckers get cataracts and shit and their eyes turn blue. Those are only niggas that got blue eyes. Exactly, NB 2.0. Now, Japanese, let me tell y'all, man, real quick. Japanese people are black. Man, when I was in college, I had a bunch of Japanese motherfuckers that were living in the apartment with me, right? And on the campus. Real quick. Man, I'm going to tell y'all niggas something, man. I came out my fucking apartment, and it was a bunch of Japanese exchange students. Tell me why these motherfuckers is wearing Timbs. They had their jeans tucked in their Timbs. They was sagging. They had hoodies. Nigga, I heard Nas music playing and shit. I was like, what the fuck? Nigga, I was afraid. There's like 6 of them motherfuckers, man. I came out, and I'm walking by, nigga. I forgot I was the black dude, nigga. I was like, what the fuck? I heard Nas, nigga. I heard that damn New York State of Mind. The first one, not the second one. The first one, the best one. You know what I'm saying? They playing that shit. I'm walking by. They looking at me like, what's up, nigga? Japanese dudes. That's why I say Kazuda Ioka is black. Because he remind me just like them dudes, man. He was just like cornrows and shit. Got a blunt in their mouth, nigga. Cup of Hennessy. That's Kazuda Ioka. But Caleb Plant, no, sir. Absolutely.
Man, back in the day, you see them motherfuckers drinking 40s with us and shit. Them Japanese niggas. Yeah, dog. They be drinking them 40, pull up, they pull up in them souped up Subarus.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dog. Bitch, man, you better stop playing with me. Drinking the
I had never seen no shit like that. I was like, what the fuck? These motherfuckers is really on it, bro. Like, they really watch us from over there.
Yeah.
Yes, they had, nigga, they shit was tucked in they Timbs better than my shit. Yeah, I had the whole beat up tongue shit going, nigga. I'm in college, nigga. I didn't have a fresh new pair of Timbs, but them niggas did. I was like, I'm about to rob these motherfuckers. Give me your Timbs, nigga. Real shit.
Hey, MB2KO, that's right. He lost his honorary black status when he asked Canelo, am I good? Good fight? Am I good?
Pretty good for it. What did he say? What did he say? I'm pretty good for or something. What did
he said? Not bad, huh? I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good fighter, huh?
Fuck out of here, man.
All right, man. Next up, man. Okay, so remember we told you guys, we said, look, this isn't a matter of if Deontay was going to win. It was a matter of when Deontay Wilder was going to win. In case you guys didn't know, Deontay Wilder, unless, if you went to the bathroom, look down at your phone or go answer your door, Deontay Wilder won first round motherfucking knockout, right? But, Prodigy, I have to question this knockout. I really have to question, and here's why I question this knockout.
Really well to Wilder. You were able to negate that power a bit when he put Wilder on his back foot. And there's a huge right hand. Down goes Helenius. Bomb Squad is back. And there's a huge right hand. And there's a huge right. And there's a huge right hand. Down goes Helenius.
You guys show me where in there was that right hand that powerful to where Helenius was laying there like he was comatose?
Well, let me do this first, Bo. Congratulations to Deontay Wilder. You got to do that first, Bo. You can't get into the bullshit before doing that. Congratulations to Deontay Wilder. We said Wilder needed to knock out Robert Helenius in 3 rounds or less, or else.
Yep.
And that or else meant we was going to kill this nigga worse than him twerking. All right? And he did that. He knocked him out in 3 rounds or less. Didn't even get to round 2. This is exactly what should have happened. Now, continue, Bo.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Because I didn't see Deontay Wilder power is where? The extension. Every time he's knocked someone out, it's been right here at the extension. I don't give a fuck about what Joe Guzman and Lennox Lewis was trying to talk about. Something. It's the short punches. No. Not when you're 6'7". Short punches my ass. Okay? Short punches when you're Mike Tyson size, motherfucker. That's when the short punches matter. Not when you're fucking 6'6", 6'7". It's not the short punches. Okay? I didn't see that. I didn't see that punch have enough muscle. I didn't see the extension. Hell, I didn't even see Deontay Wilder turn and put a lot of his fucking force and weight on that punch. But if he'd have went down and got back up, I'd have been like, okay. He went down and was looking like he was comatose. I'm sorry. This reminds me. See, this is another sparring partner of Deontay Wilder that gets hit and goes down, like Malik Scott did. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yep. Remember that so-called punch she hit Malik Scott with?
That didn't land? Yeah, I remember.
Remember that one? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in the Ortiz second fight. That's in the second fight with Ortiz. That punch didn't look like it should have knocked Ortiz like that.
I'll say this. I didn't think so either. However, that second Ortiz fight, that straight right hand had full extension on it. Okay. He was just stepping and turned and threw it. Okay. So he didn't really have it. He wasn't in position to generate maximum power. However, it did have full extension.
Okay.
I felt Ortiz was hit by much bigger shots than that in the first fight than to go down by that shot in the second fight. However, it looked better than this one. This one, dude, I was talking to my wife, you know. My wife is trying her hardest to come out of the casual category. You know what I'm saying? So she watches the fights with me every fucking weekend, right? She's watching it. She's like, damn, you know, not that punch was really that hard. And I'm explaining to her the reason why it couldn't have been that hard is because he's on his back foot and he bounced off the ropes and threw the shot, and it was a short, compact shot. However, there was no turning of the hips. I tell people all the time, your power doesn't come from your arms, your shoulders, right? There is power generated from those areas. But the majority of your power, it comes from the turning of your hips. It comes from your legs. People say, well, Wilder can't generate that much power from his legs because he doesn't work out. It's just not what I'm talking about. You don't have to have big ass legs to have power, right? It's about technique, bro. Because the turning of the hips puts the weight into the punch.
Exactly.
So all 215 pounds of Wilder's weight would have been turned into the punch on top of the power that's generated from the arms and the shoulder area, right?
Correct.
But there was no turning of the hips. Plus, he was on his back foot and bouncing off the ropes. So there was no way he got maximum power on that short shot. That shot was more like a glorified straight right hand that should have stunned him maybe, but not put him out where he was dead on the mat for 10 minutes, bro. I just don't listen, man. I hate to say this, bro. I hate to say this.
Say it.
I feel like Helenius took a dive, bro. And my man Blake beat me to it. However, that still doesn't take away from me thinking that Wilder can knock out anybody in the division. Even though if Helenius took a dive, that doesn't mean that Wilder doesn't have the same power that he showed against every other fighter he's fought, right? Including Fury. that he still doesn't have that power when he gets full extension. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the dive, it doesn't, even though it sounds bad that I'm saying that, and in reality, it's really not that bad. Because I still think Wilder's power is still there. And I still think Wilder's is relevant in the heavyweight division. I still think he's relevant.
Oh yes, most definitely.
I just think this is a fight that nobody needed to fucking see because of what happened. You see what I'm saying? I don't think this fight was pay-per-view worthy anyway. It should have never been on pay-per-view. And this is why. If Helenius really did not take a dive and he literally got knocked out by a punch that did not have even half the power that Wilder fucking generates, and he got knocked out by that the way that he did, then that tells you all in itself that it should have never been a pay-per-view event that anyone should have paid for.
Agreed.
Because Helenius was never anybody that could have given any type of competition to Deontay Wilder. That's not fights that we pay for. No. We don't pay for fights where a guy doesn't have the ability to compete against another guy. We don't pay for those. Right? We pay for pay-per-view events where it's close to a 50-50 matchup, guys. Right?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, and cycle those comments for me. At the end of the day, right? However you slice it, if Helenius really did get fucking knocked out, or if he took a dive, at the end of the day, this was a matchup nobody should have paid for. So it doesn't matter what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what I think in terms of he took a dive, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is still a fight that should not have taken place on pay-per-view.
Agreed.
It's still honestly a fight. I mean, Wilder needed a tune-up, right?
Yes, he did.
After being knocked out twice. But it's still a fight in which you can't gather data from because Helenius was not on the level of Wilder and never was. I told you guys, the reason why I said he should have knocked him out in less than 3 rounds, I kept going back to Gerald Washington, man. I don't care about Adam Kalnacki. Wilder doesn't fight like that guy. Adam Kalnacki doesn't have Wilder power.
No.
And Robert Helenius doesn't have fucking defense. We knew he was going to get hit. That's why I said he needed to go out before 3. Right?
Yep.
So while I remember, I think it was my man Chris Boogie said this is a good tune-up. No, it wasn't. How the fuck is this a good tune-up? This is a regular fight for Wilder. It's a fight for him to come back to and get his confidence. Robert Helenius was there to get knocked out. You know, I usually say, yeah, that guy's there to get hit. Well, this nigga was there to get knocked out. And he showed that, whether it was a dive or not, he was there to get knocked the fuck out, bro. And that's what happened. So Wilder's got his confidence back, which is why Helenius was even picked to be an opponent. And now he's out there saying, you know, the heavyweight division, you know, it needs Deontay Wilder. I have no problem with him saying that. Shout out to my man Modern King, put $2 more on it. He said, bogus win. I got to agree.
Mm-hmm.
But he's out there saying that the heavyweight division needs Deontay Wilder, right? And at the end of the day, I still agree with him. Whether this was a bogus win, a dive, or a legit win, at the end of the day, like I said, Wilder's power is still there. That makes him still relevant, and I still want to see him against the top fighters in the division. Usyk, Ruiz. I want to see Joshua. I'm not interested in seeing Tyson Fury 4. I don't want to see that. We already know who wins. We knew that before they fought 3 times. You know what I'm saying? We knew that before they fought 3 times. Now we really fucking know. I'm not interested. I don't want to see Wilder Fury 4. But I do want to see Wilder, Ruiz, Wilder, Joshua, Wilder, Usyk, Wilder, Joyce, Wilder, Ajagba, Wilder, Sanchez. I want to see all of those.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? He's still relevant.
He's still relevant, but here's the problem with that. He's relevant, and he knows he's relevant, but the names you named, F.A. Jagbay and Frank Sanchez, he's already said those fights are fights he's not interested in. He's trying to fight either for a championship or the big names or the top names in the box in the heavyweight division, right? So Frank Sanchez is X'd off the list. F.A. Jagbay, I could see him being willing to take that fight over him to fight. Understand, he fights Frank Sanchez like what you just talked about. That boxing ability of Frank Sanchez is way too much. It will be a situation of, hey, what happens when he lands against a guy like Frank Sanchez? I think the next fight we're going to see is him and Andy Ruiz. I think that fight has already been penciled in.
I think
right?
so too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that fight's already been penciled in. All right, y'all pay attention to what we're saying here, right?
Yeah.
Pay attention to how we saying this. You think that fight may have already been penciled in. Okay. So I definitely think that's going to be the next fight. But if Usyk and Tyson Fury doesn't get scheduled to get planned by, I'm gonna say by the middle of 2023, gear up, everybody. You're gonna see Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 4.
I'm not interested. This was a WBC eliminator, by the way. I think you said that. I think you said that, but yeah.
Yeah, we said it in the last show, but yeah, right. This was a WBC eliminator. And we told y'all that. See what I'm saying? We told y'all that. Because actually, I think because remember Joe Joyce, he was right there for it, but he chose to go the WBO route, which left that open for who? Deontay Wilder. So understand, man, he's gonna if he fights Andy Ruiz, that's gonna be a final eliminator. And after that, so get ready for it, man. He's definitely fighting Andy Ruiz. I definitely believe he's fighting Andy Ruiz.
Well,
then I want to see just how much of that power can he generate in a better fashion against somebody like Andy Ruiz. That's going to be interesting. I still think he can knock him out.
Yeah, I think he knocked him out.
Yeah, Andy Ruiz is tough though, but I would love to see that fight. I'm with
Andy Ruiz is a tough guy, but I can't get over the fact that if Luis Ortiz would have stayed on his feet, he would have won the fight. He was beating Andy Ruiz. This is an old ass Luis Ortiz that has literally no punch resistance anymore, bro. I mean, getting knocked down twice by Charles Martin, that told me right there. I was like, all right, man, Luis, dog, you might need to hang him up, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't get knocked down by fucking Charles Martin twice. But you know, the lack of punch resistance, and he still kept the fight close. I mean, in my opinion, he won more rounds than Ruiz did. He lost too many points. I can't remember how many times he got knocked down, but he lost so many points that I ended up having Ruiz winning the fight.
I think he got knocked down 3 or 4 times.
I think it was 3 times. Yeah, it was minus the 3 points that put Ruiz ahead on my scorecard, as it did on the judges. Because I think if he would have stayed on his feet and won those rounds that he lost the extra point in, the judges would have had it a draw or Luis Ortiz's favor and by majority decision. So seeing that happen with Ruiz, and then plus, you know, going life or death in some of those rounds against a far more than well done Chris Arreola, yeah, Wilder knocks this nigga the fuck out, bro.
Let me ask you this. I know you said, do you think that fight's pay-per-view worthy, Wilder and Ruiz?
No. None of these fights are pay-per-view worthy, man. Like, pay-per-view worthy fights are fucking Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Right. You know, Fury and Usyk. You know what I'm saying? Wilder, AJ is pay-per-view worthy, yes.
I'll give you that, yeah.
Not Wilder Ruiz. No. Ruiz isn't a pay-per-view star. Neither is fucking Wilder, honestly. You put him in a big fight, yes. You know, Wilder, Tyson Fury had no problem with that being pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Especially with all the buzz that it had generated. I have no problem with that. But Wilder Ruiz? No, the fuck? Hell no, nigga. That should be straight up Fox. You know what I'm saying? I should turn my motherfucking TV to Fox, nigga, and see the fight. Real shit, dog. Real shit.
Agree, 100%, man. All right, man. Oh, man. We told y'all this. We said. We told you guys. There's nothing George Kambosos can do that's going to give us a different outcome when he fights Devin Haney. We basically told you guys. Right? Devin Haney literally, this is round motherfucking round 13 of the first fight. That's what it was. It's round 13 of the first fight. Right? Now there were some things I think Devin Haney did differently. I think Devin Haney he used a lot more different variations of the jab. He actually was throwing the right hand more. George Kambosos was worried about the holding, but in my honest opinion, he was initiating more of the holding than Devin Haney was in this fight. George Kambosos was trying to switch up too. He was trying to confuse Devin Haney by going from southpaw to righty. I tell you guys all the time, man. This is what I tell you guys. Fighters should never, ever, ever, ever go into training camp, try something, and then take that into a big fight against someone like a Devin Haney. I said, if you're going to do that, you try that against someone of a lower scale, because I saw him do that switch and get caught with the right hand a couple times by Devin Haney when he was trying to do it, because while he was trying to do it too goddamn close. Okay. Mm-hmm. But Devin Haney really won this fight in the exact same fashion. Like I'm gonna say it one more time. This was like round 13 of the first fight for me. Mad props to Devin Haney. Went back over there. He did it again. I think that there was some more moments that you can definitely say that George Kambosos tried to have. He tried to use his hand. He tried to use that hand speed. He was trying to come inside, but he just kept getting hit with that jab, or he was getting countered with that right hand. And then the movement of Devin Haney also was present there also as well, man. So mad props to Devin Haney, undisputed lightweight champion. He defended it, won it. Now he's defended it. Now bring on Lomachenko.
Well, what do you think, before I get into my breakdown, what do you think about the respect that Devin Haney should be getting at this point, man? Because, his biggest thing at the end of the fight, and I hate this, they were, it's an ESPN broadcast or whatever, but they were saying Devin Haney, he just wants to be on the pound for pound list, ESPN pound for pound list. I'm thinking in my head, why does Haney give a fuck about an ESPN pound for pound list? And this is what I hate about the fighters, right? And this is why I don't, I love the sport. I mean, I love the game of boxing. I hate the sport, right? Because the people that make up the sport are fucking idiots. And that includes the fighters, right? Not all fighters are, but some of them are. In this case, right? And that, if Devin Haney is sitting there at home, man, I just want to be pound for pound on ESPN. What the fuck are you talking about? ESPN isn't even known for their boxing. They don't know shit about boxing. The only one on ESPN that knows remotely anything close to boxing is Max Kellerman. No one else. No, Mike Coppinger does not know anything about boxing. He's a news getter. That's it. Go look at some of Coppinger's scorecards and go laugh at him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, remember when he was at the fight, fucking Alycia Alvarez and Kovalev? What did he say?
Nigga had Alycia Alvarez.
He had Alycia Alvarez. This is the second one, not the first one. He had Alycia Alvarez winning the fight. What are you talking about? Kovalev beating this nigga's ass from pillar to post. You know what I'm saying? The only one at ESPN that knows anything about fucking boxing is Max Kellerman. That's it. So why would you give a shit if you're on an ESPN pound for pound list when that fucking media source doesn't know shit about boxing? They barely even have boxing segments on SportsCenter and shit. They give you niggas a fucking 2-minute highlight, then they move on to something else. I understand why they care, because it's one of the biggest sports broadcasting companies out there. They're owned by Disney. Everybody knows them. But who gives a fuck? Give niggas that actually know boxing the shine, dude. The fuck? That pisses me off about these fighters, these promoters, managers, and shit, right? Because they want to hold dicks with the biggest dick that can be out there. And in this case, it's ESPN. You know what I'm saying? This shit's gay. Give the fucking shine to the motherfuckers that know boxing. There's a hell of a lot of pound for pound lists out there from credible fucking boxing media sources that have you on it. Why are you worried about ESPN and fucking Ring Magazine? Ring Magazine stopped being dope a long time ago.
A long time ago.
When Oscar De La Hoya took that shit over, it went downhill. That's the shit that pisses me off, man.
Not to mention he put all his fighters in the fucking rankings too.
Right.
Shit, them niggas had Ryan Garcia ahead of Devin Haney.
I remember that. That shit pisses me off, man. I had to side note that, nigga. That shit makes me that pisses me off, nigga. Grinds my gears like Peter Griffin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
But at the end of the day, bro, getting into my shit now. I gotta give. Let me say this. Devin Haney completely dominated the fight. Shit was hilarious. But here's the deal. I gotta give just a tiny bit of credit to George Kambosos because he did change up his game plan in this fight. He didn't come back in and try to do the same shit they did in the first fight, right? In the first fight, he was trying to fucking outbox Devin Haney. Cycle those comments for me. He was trying to outbox Devin Haney, right? In this fight, notice the switching, and I talked about this earlier in this show. I'll say it again. Notice the switching. Did y'all see that? He was switching from left to right. Kept doing it. Switching his stances. Orthodox, southpaw, southpaw to orthodox. Remember that?
Yep.
Is George Kambosos a switch hitter? No, he's not. That's what I was telling my wife. She was like, he looks weird. He's switching. He keeps changing his stances. His body looks weird. I said, oh. Yeah, he's trying to confuse Devin Haney. Now, that's me coming back. I missed the first round. I was out lifting weights. And when I came back in, that's exactly what she told me. And as I sat down at my desk, I said, oh, yeah, he's trying to confuse Devin Haney. He's not a switch hitter. You know, he doesn't know how to fight orthodox as he does southpaw and vice versa. He doesn't know how to do that. Terrence Crawford is a guy that's a switch hitter. Roman Gonzalez, right? Those are switch hitters. George Kambosos is not a switch hitter. So I said there's two reasons why these guys do this. They keep switching back and forth. Number one, it could be that they're trying to confuse their opponent, trying to make themselves look awkward so that their opponent doesn't get a read on what they're doing in the ring. Mm-hmm. And they can't establish a rhythm, right, while they're fighting them. And number two, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, right? They can't read their opponent, so they're switching and shit, trying to figure their opponent out. It's one of those two things if you're not a switch hitter and you keep switching, right? Like your Omar Figueroa and shit, right? That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. And that was probably the worst case of switching I've ever seen where it didn't work out for the person. He got his ass whooped in that fight. But anyway, I digress, bro. I got to give Kambosos credit for exacting that game plan or executing that game plan because that's all he could do. He couldn't outbox Devin Haney, as we saw in the first fight, right? Yeah. George Kambosos does not have an inside game. I don't give a fuck if you were born and raised in Australia. You're not going to convince me that George Kambosos has an inside game. No, he does not. Okay. So he can't really fight on the inside. George Kambosos is a fighter with fast hands. He needs to be at mid-range distance, controlling the fight at mid-range distance so that he can fire off combinations at blazing speed. That is George Kambosos.
Agreed.
He doesn't have great defense. He doesn't have great footwork, right? He doesn't really even have a great body attack. I think he has zero body attack. You know what I'm saying? That is literally mid-range distance fighter. He's not even an outside fighter. He's mid-range. Full extension, fire off blazing speed combinations. That's it. And he can counterpunch. That's George Kambosos. But I don't think his counterpunching is as good as people think it is. But he will fire off some counters. And he actually got Devin with a nice counter left hook towards the end of the fight. That shit was beautiful. Devin ate that bitch, but it was nice, right? So he does fire off some good counters every once in a while, right? But the switching, he had to do something to get Devin off his game. But it didn't matter. Devin is just too good. He's too good. George Kambosos is a B- C+ level fighter, guys. I've been saying this for so many this whole year and last year. He's a C+, B- level fighter. Devin Haney is an A level fighter, guys. He is. This is literally a mismatch, and I've said this way before this first fight was on the fucking schedule. It's a mismatch. I remember all the guys out there. Yeah, Kambosos is about to knock this nigga out. He just an email champ. All right, man. Bet. Put your money up so I can get this dough. Right? It's a mismatch. Even the switching didn't confuse Devin, man. Didn't confuse him. He just, and I'm telling my wife, the reason why it's not going to work, this is in the second round, bro, because I missed the first round. This is in the second round. And I'm explaining the switching to her. I'm saying the reason why it's not going to work is because Devin, when you watch him, he jabs, takes 2 steps back. Look at the distance he keeps between him and George Kambosos. You can literally put 2 niggas in between them. That's how much distance there was in between them. That is called judging distance well. That's what that's called. Jab, take 2 steps back. Oh, this motherfucker want to jump in? Here go that straight right hand. Step back. Or slide to my right, slide to my left. My left, give you an angle. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Spin you, then step back. There's nothing switching can do to stop that. Now, I'll say this. Towards the latter, I mean, the beginning of the fight, the first round in particular, I missed that round. So I'm going to go with what majority of people have been telling me, that Devin Haney started off slow. Both fighters started off slow, but George Kambosos had a little bit more volume in that round. So he controlled the pace of that round. So they gave it to Kambosos. But I did see rounds 2 to 12. I had every round for fucking Devin Haney from 2 to 12. So if you give, and I'll concede because I missed the first round, my scorecard was 119 to 109, Devin Haney. And it was a blistering ass whooping, bro. I put on Facebook that I felt bad for George Kambosos. I really did. Y'all know I don't give a fuck, nigga. I'm like the Russian on Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies. That's how I am, bro. I watch, hey, it is what it is. Y'all signed up for this. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's tragedy when shit happens. It's tragic when shit happens. But at the end of the day, you signed up for this. When I stepped in the gym and became a fighter as an amateur, that's what my coach told me, my first one anyway. Said the same fucking thing. Hey, man, you can get seriously injured in the sport to the point where it can be fatal. Yep. Still want to do this? I said, yes, sir. Bo, did you get that same talk when you became an amateur?
That's the talk you have when you come in the door.
Exactly, bro. So all these fighters, if you had a great amateur coach, you got the same talk. So I'm not a guy that watches boxing. I'm like, well, just stop hitting him. No!
Yep.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't ever feel sorry for fighters. I feel sympathy when bad shit happens, yes. But I don't feel sorry for anyone, right? Until first time I ever saw, well, let me say first time I felt sorry for somebody is 2 Mayweather fights, the first 2 times. First one was Diego Corrales. I felt sorry for that nigga.
You couldn't help but to feel something for that nigga.
That's the worst ass whooping I saw at that time. The second time I felt sorry for somebody, again, was a Mayweather fight. Mayweather Gotti. Arturo Gotti was getting his face beat the fuck off, dog. I was watching that like, just somebody please stop this fight, man. And then the third time was Haney Kambosos 2. I'm watching this shit. And I'm like, dog. And his trainers are like, what the fuck are you doing? God damn it. And I'm like, bruh, he's doing all he can. He's doing all he can. There's nothing more than Devin Haney can do. I mean, George Kambosos can do. He's a C+ B- level fighter. There's nothing more he can do. He's doing everything in his power, bruh. And they're fucking yelling at this man like he's doing something wrong. He's not. He's just not good enough. That's the problem here. Why did y'all put a rematch clause in the contract? I blame his handlers, not his dad, not his trainer. I blame I think his dad's his trainer. I don't really know what that corner looks like. But I blame his handlers. Whoever's advising him. Why the fuck did you put a rematch clause in the contract? Did you guys really think you could beat Devin Haney? I mean, yes, George is supposed to think this, but that's why you have an advisor. Because your advisor brings you back down to earth. And says, bro, you can't win. The advisor is supposed to be Adrian on Rocky. You can't win. You're right, Alex. It's the bag. You're right. But goddamn, they put this nigga in danger over a bag. You can't win. Right? Listen, I just hate it to see the corner just bashing and criticizing Len based on fucking George Kambosos for, quote, not doing the correct game plan when he's doing all he could, bro. There's nothing more that this man could do because he's not on the fucking level of Devin Haney and never was. This shit should have never fucking happened. I feel bad for George Kambosos. I really do. I feel sorry for the man. I feel sorry for him. But I still stick to my words as I stated prior to this fight. I said when Kambosos gets mollywopped for a second time, I don't want to see him against top-level fighters at 135 for quite some time. He's 27, I think. Yeah, give him about 3 fucking years. Go fight contenders before you get back in there with a Lomachenko. You know, if Tank Davis goes back down to 35, him. I don't want to see that. Shakur's coming up. Don't even mention his fucking name. If you like Tupac, nigga, just say Tupac. Don't say his whole name. You're not allowed to say Tupac Shakur, nigga. Just Tupac. That's it. Don't even mention that nigga's name, bro. Don't even mention New Jersey. You come to America, George, don't go to New Jersey. Off limits. He can't fight those guys, bro. He's got to fight lower end contenders so that he can properly learn how to fight the right way to be a contender or a competitive contender against guys that don't have fucking mental illness. Because that's why he beat Teofimo Lopez. But Devin Haney, Vasyl Lomachenko, right? Them niggas don't have mental illness. They don't know what that is. They know what having a fighter's mentality in boxing is. They know what being 100% ready on a mental game is. That's why you'll never be able to fucking compete. So just go ahead and get some experience like you should have been. When you fought Mickey Bay, that was experience. You almost lost, but that was experience. When you fought Lee Selby, you almost lost. That was experience. Should have continued on that path. What's fucked up is, I told my wife, and I'm going to turn to you in a minute. I told my wife, Teofimo Lopez allowing George Kambosos to beat him gave George Kambosos a false sense of hype. Or false hype. Let me just say that. It's not even a sense. It's real. False hype. Gave him false hype, bro. He thought he was the best fighter at lightweight. And he was supposed to think that. He went to Brooklyn and beat the top guy in his backyard. We don't give a fuck about whether or not he had mental illness if I'm on Kambosos' team. We don't care about that. That's his problem, not ours. We were ready. He wasn't. We took advantage, right?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying if I'm on Kambosos' team. However, it applied a false hype around this man. And now he's got to go home for a second time and realize I really wasn't that good. Go ahead, man.
Here's the thing, man. And I think you was getting into the whole respect factor for Devin Haney. I'm going to say something. Fighters got to stop wanting these motherfuckers, entities out here to give you respect. Oh. Who gives a fuck? Who fucking cares? Right? Go in there, win the fight, become world champion. You know how do you know how in the end you beat them motherfuckers? Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Right? Undisputed. One weight division. Unified, another weight division. Winning title, stacking up good resume. That's how you shut all that up. Stop worrying about whether or not they respect you or can you get your respect. Who fucking cares? You're asking dudes, as my man Prodigy eloquently put it, that don't know shit about boxing and can't step in the ring. I seen Mike Carpenter. I told y'all before, the nigga look like he walks like he got a vagina. Did I not say that, Prodigy?
Yep.
I said that, right? So who cares? This is a dude. Like, these are dudes that you guys will see acting like they're mad at each other on social media, and you know, they sitting up front talking to each other, trading notes and shit. So who cares about them guys respecting you? Who cares about the ring not having you on the pound for pound? Who cares? Why does that fucking that should not matter to you guys? Why? Because number one, and let's keep it real, the pound for pound list is objective. It's motherfuckers' opinion. A lot of these motherfuckers base it off of popularity.
Subjective, yeah. Subjective.
Yeah, I'm sorry, subjective, right? A lot of these motherfuckers base that shit off popularity. So who cares? But you know what's not based off popularity? You being undisputed. You going to the fucking Hall of Fame. You becoming unified in more than one motherfucking weight class. You beating some of the top fighters in the era. Hey, that's not subjective. That actually fucking happened. Fact.
Mm-hmm.
So stop giving a shit about these motherfuckers' respect. Stop caring about if you're on somebody's pound for pound list. Stop caring what entity is like. Stop. At the end of the goddamn day, if you're out here putting that work in, whether they like you or don't like you, they're going to show you. They're going to show up at your fights. They're going to put you on. They have no fucking choice, right? As much as I don't like Ryan Garcia, one thing I get this nigga good at, he's very good at making himself irrelevant whether he wins the title or not.
Yeah, he makes himself very relevant.
He
does.
good.
It's all about it's marketing.
Yeah.
Got to market yourself in the sport of boxing, man.
Yep. Whether I like this nigga or not, he's very good at making himself relevant, right? Yep. I mean, hell, look at Errol Spence. Errol Spence don't talk a lot, but you know, Errol Spence has a good marketing team. He's giving water to people. What you say?
Well, Errol Spence is fucking fighting people. It's not his marketing team that has Errol Spence popular. It's the fact that he's fucking fighting people. That's what it is.
Exactly.
You know, he's fighting motherfuckers. He's fought everybody relevant at welterweight. You know what I'm saying? Except Boots. You know what I'm saying? Right. And of course Terrence. And you know, Boots and Virgil became relevant later.
Right. By that time, he was on a whole other path. You're right.
Right. The guys that were relevant when he was coming up, he's fought them all, beat them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, you're absolutely right. And that goes to what I'm saying, right? Who gives a shit? If you're putting that work in and you're doing that, it's gonna come, right? And then when it pertains to you know, George Kambosos, man, listen, man. You know, my man Prodigy said something, right? He said he's from Australia.
My bad.
Beating Teofimo Lopez made this dude think he was an A-level fighter. That's what it did. It made him think he was an A-level fighter. You guys do understand, as bad as we feel, like if you guys think what Lomachenko did with Richard Commey when he was stunting on Richard Commey and just, you know, hell, he didn't finish him off in the round. He had Richard Commey hurt. He said, "No, man, just go back to your corner." If you guys think that was, man, Vasyl Lomachenko would have been like,
that would have been sad, bro.
It would have been real sad.
It would have been another fight where I feel sorry for the dude. He would have, Vasyl would have knocked him out.
Oh man, he'd Anthony Dirrell his ass.
Yeah, he would have knocked him out, bro. Remember, guys, that fight was supposed to happen, and Vasyl went to the Ukraine to, you know, to fight in the war, allegedly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, he would have beaten the dog shit and knocked out George Kambosos, bro, if that fight would have went down.
Yeah, man, listen, dog, it would have been bad. But you got to understand something, man. As a fighter, and this is where I agree with you wholeheartedly, as a fighter, you are supposed to have, right, that mentality, I can whoop anyone. But you also have to have an edit button. I can whoop anyone, but let's not test that yet. Now, I will give George Kambosos props here. George Kambosos did not have to fight Devin Haney. He had all the belts. He could have went back home, had a couple, 1 or 2 good motherfucking fights, boom, and got big paydays because he was considered a hero. So I give him credit. He didn't have to take the Devin Haney fight, right? Give him all the credit in the world for that. He didn't have to go there. He didn't have to take the Lomachenko fight if he didn't want to, right? He did not have to go that route. So I will give him credit for not wanting to sit down on his loins. But at the same time, somebody on the team should have told him, you know, just like Richard Comey. Remember when they told Richard Comey, well, Lomachenko's next. Well, you know, hold on. I have to go home.
Right.
And, like this is one time he should have had a Floyd Mayweather on his team. So who's next? Devin Haney? Let me take that.
Let me get that. Let Floyd talk for you, dog. Right.
That's what he should have somebody like that on his team. Somebody asked, where does he go from here? And my man Prodigy put it best, man. Listen, he's still a guy who won a title. He's still a guy who won a world championship. So it's still gonna be some doors open for him. But I don't think, like, you know, because I saw one of you guys say, you know, Isaac Cruz.
Devin Haney outboxes the shit out of Isaac. Isaac Cruz is a one-dimensional fighter.
Right.
Devin Haney stays on the outside and jabs this nigga to death.
Right.
That's easy work for Devin, man.
That's easy work for Devin Haney, man. But at the end of the day, you know, George Kambosos, I agree with you, man. I think he should look at some of the lower tier guys to fight him. But the problem is, because, you know, he's a former world champion, I can see him being thrown in the fight with maybe I could actually see Top Rank putting him in there with Shakur Stevenson just to build up Shakur Stevenson's resume. And that would be even that'll be even worse right there. So I see that happening, man. No, Bo. G needed to take the fight after the promises he made leading up to Diaz versus Haney. He talked himself into ass whooping. Hey, man, I agree. Hey, like I said, he could have went another way, but he didn't. He went there and he took them fights. So I give him all the credit in the world for that. But man, he wasn't gonna beat Devin Haney. We tried to tell y'all that. Him believing it, yeah. But you know, at the end of the day, man, if nobody on his team like went back to the back room and told him, hey man, listen, man, you gave it your best. Now that we realize that you're not here, this is where you are. This is what we need to do, right?
There's only two people at lightweight that have a legitimate chance to beat Devin Haney. Two people. One's Vasyl Lomachenko. The other one is the new entrant, Shakur Stevenson. That's it.
Agreed.
Nobody else. Not Tank. No. Shakur Stevenson and Vasyl Lomachenko.
You know, niggas is mad that you didn't say Tank. You know that, right? They mad you didn't say Tank.
I already told niggas Tank's not beating Devin Haney. I've already said that. Devin Haney was getting outboxed by fucking Rolly Romero, bro.
You mean Tank Davis?
I'm sorry. Tank Davis was getting outboxed by Rolly Romero. No. It was Rolly Romero's dumbass mistake of throwing the same sequence of the same two-punch sequence twice in a row. And on that second the second sequence that he threw, he got countered because he just threw that sequence. Why would you do that? Amateur mistake. Got him knocked out. Devin don't make those mistakes, guys.
Yeah, we saw that tonight.
Right. So, nah, man. Tank, it's a good fight, but I don't think Tank beats him. But on paper, 50-50 fights, and even fights that may sway away from Devin Haney are Vasyl Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson.
I gotta agree with that 100%. But I think the Lomachenko fight should be next. However, I'm just telling you guys right now, get yourself prepared. Devin Haney might go to 140, and if he goes to 140, Ryan Garcia gonna keep running.
He beats the dog shit out of Ryan. Man, go to the next one.
Yeah, right.
Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia.
Anyway.
This one right here. Now, we told you guys, right? We had told you guys about this fight. This was the fight we was waiting for. It was for undisputed middleweight. I think Claressa Shieds has been undisputed in not three different weight divisions, but she's been undisputed 3 times. She's been undisputed at middleweight twice, and she was undisputed at 154, right? So she's a 3-time undisputed champion. She defeated Savannah Marshall. Now, understand something, right? I'm actually shocked that she got the win in this fight because she spent a lot of time up against the ropes. And in the eyes of the judges, and a lot of judges, especially with her being in the UK, it could appear that Savannah Marshall was being effective. There were times Savannah Marshall actually was able to do some work in while she was up against them ropes. There were some things, though, that I was disappointed in when it came to Savannah Marshall. Prodigy, you mentioned this before. You said Savannah Marshall is going to have to fight smart. When Claressa was up against the rope, Savannah Marshall smothered her own work.
Yeah.
She got too close and smothered her own work. Your power punch is when you've always caught someone at the end of that punch. When Claressa got up against the ropes, she should have just jab, just to get jab, then throw the right hand. She was in too close throwing the right hand. And what was Claressa doing? She was countering with left hooks and right hands. Now, I was heavily disappointed in Claressa. Claressa, John David Jackson needs to tell Claressa, you do not have power.
John David Jackson sucks. He's not a real trainer. And I'm not saying that because Kovalev said it. I've been said that. Even when him and Kovalev were cool. John David Jackson fucking sucks, bro.
Yes, he does.
He's more of a trainer in the gym. You know, get the pads ready for you, like getting you into shape type of trainer. He is a terrible trainer in terms of motivation and in terms of fucking giving instructions. He fucking sucks.
Yes. And Claressa, you do not have power. Stop trying to knock this girl out. When Claressa came out and she did exactly what we told y'all she needs to do. We said she needs to jump on Savannah Marshall. Jump on Savannah Marshall. Get at her, go at her right away. Do not give this girl time to think. Do not give this girl time to set up. But then she started going back up against the rope. She stopped going to the body, which was winning, which was actually doing
that was the fucking difference in the fight. And that body work, and I hate that these niggas caught this shit on the broadcast because it's gonna make it seem like I took it from them. Nigga, let me tell y'all right now, before they even put this shit up there, when they were talking about Claressa Shieds' body work, I was telling the Three Kings boxing staff that the body work from Claressa Shieds was being overlooked because those two were brawling. That body work was fucking key. It was the difference. She was beating the shit out of that body, bro, early in that fight.
Yes, she was. And you sure did say that. She went at her and she went to that body. And she was catching it with those counters. Claressa Shieds' hand speed, and we told y'all that athleticism of Claressa Shieds is what was also going to be a problem for Savannah Marshall. We said that. Now, we also, what did we tell y'all? We said Claressa Shieds, and because I want the motherfucker that told me something about Claressa having a questionable chin. We told y'all she has that goddamn will.
My man Chris Boogie.
That was Chris Boogie. That's okay. Where is he at? You ain't in here tonight. I'm looking for you, nigga.
He gonna see the show.
Hell yeah. Well, Chris Boogie, I told you that we was telling you she has that kind of will, dog. That whole shit about her chin don't mean nothing to Claressa. She has that will. And what happened? Claressa got hit a couple times with that right hand. Hell, she got hit with a left. You know, now after the fight, she said, she was blind in one eye or whatever the case may be, but she kept on fighting. Be that as it may. But that's what we was telling you about, her will. She has that will. She has that, hey, no, you ain't gonna just hit me and knock me out, right? I don't believe your power is all that. Now, she admitted at the end, yes, it was. But Savannah Marshall, and this will, I go back to my man Prodigy point. Savannah Marshall should have fought them back in September. That's when she was mentally ready, because there was mental lapse in this fight that I saw. Absolutely. That I was stunned when I saw them.
Yeah.
Coming from Savannah Marshall. She smothered her work. She didn't try to even establish a jab. Once she realized it was a shootout, she tried to fight a shootout. Why are you trying to fight a shootout with Claressa Shieds?
Right.
Okay. Right. You're the taller fighter. You're the bigger fighter. We see you fight like that. Fight like that. Right. I think the moment of being in her hometown actually got to her in this fight. She would have done better in the second fight. I think that got to her because she's like, hey, I gotta win. So she went out and she fought. She fought the type of fight that made it look like she wasn't in control. Claressa started getting sloppy down toward the end of the fight. I was disappointed in what I was seeing from both fighters, but at the end, got to give it to Claressa Shieds. She went over to the UK. She won, just like she said she did, right? And I will say this, and this is what I think I tell you guys, there's a difference between, like, when Layla and Claressa, she gave credit to all the females that was on that card, and I'll give her credit for that. She's trying to push women's boxing, but she does enjoy being the villain. She's very good at it, and this is why we say they don't like her, because she played the villain. She won. She's good, and she went over there and she walks away with the title. Women boxing been killing it, man. I got to give it to us. Congratulations, Claressa Shieds. But Savannah Marshall did fight the right fight that she needed to fight, in my opinion. I was disappointed in Claressa Shieds toward the end of the fight also as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna start this off by saying, the reaction to this fight from fans and fighters, just entities in the sport of boxing outside of the fans. I'm gonna try to be as respectful as I can be, bro, when I say this, bro. But it just goes back to what I said about how a lot of fighters have that Michael Jordan analysis ability to analyze what they're watching on television, bro, or what they're watching if they go to a fight. They're watching a fight. They cannot analyze shit. I mean, these are some of the best fighters in the world, and they're terrible at analyzing what they see. I'm seeing Claressa Shields washed her. Huh? Now, I agree. Claressa won. And my prediction, I said 7-3, 6-4, right?
You sure
For
did.
Claressa
Yes,
Shields.
you did. Yes,
Both
you
of those scorecards were on the goddamn official, right? One had it 97-93 for Claressa. The other two had it 96-94.
did.
So I was right there where I said what was going to happen to a T, right?
Both your car. Both your
Exactly. So I had Claressa winning the fight, just as I said. But niggas was saying that Claressa washed her. I had somebody send me a scorecard 99-91. What?
Whoa.
And then after that, I've had people tell me that Savannah Marshall sucks. Huh?
Wow.
What? Wait. Huh?
Suck like Andre Dirrell sucks?
Nah, Anthony. Andre's
I'm
good.
Anthony Dirrell sucks?
Sucks like Anthony Peterson, nigga. Sucks like Mike Lee.
What?
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck am I seeing here? I don't understand it, bro. Listen, this is going to be a very simple breakdown. Probably one of the easier breakdowns that, and here's one right here from my man WOE. Savannah Marshall was just a hype job. This is going to be one of the easiest breakdowns of the night because it was easy to see what was happening. Claressa Shields dominated the first half of the fight. Dominated. Why did she dominate? Well, Bo made a good, already specified one big reason: the body work. The biggest reason was she was first. I always say, when you got a fighter that likes to think in front of you, you got an opponent that likes to think. Excuse me. You have to be first. Don't let them get comfortable so they can think. That was Savannah Marshall all day. Look at her. She's kind of lumbering. She's not very fast. She's kind of slow, right? But she's very smart. So if you allow her to think, she will beat you, right? Claressa went in there and didn't allow her to fucking think. From rounds 1 to 4, she dominated, bro. Throw 5 in there too, depending on how you saw that round. She dominated, bro. Volume. That's all I can say. She kept the fight in the middle of the ring. That was key right there.
Yeah.
Because your athleticism was way too much for the slow plodding footwork of Savannah Marshall. But something changed in the second half of that fight, right? And I'm going to go back to my man's comment because I had it up here. My man Eric Stratton said, I was screaming at the TV, Claressa, get your dumb ass off the ropes.
Probably be screaming that shit at us in the chat.
I was screaming it in the chat, and I'm screaming. My son was looking at me like, damn, what's wrong with this nigga? Because I'm yelling, nigga, spit flying out of my mouth. What the fuck? Get the fuck off the ropes! I'm yelling just like that. My son died. He was in trouble or some shit. she put her back on the ropes. And it doesn't matter what you guys thought you saw. It's what happened. She put her back on the fucking ropes and allowed Savannah Marshall to get what opportunities to hit her. It was no longer about being first in the second half of that fucking fight. It was about trying to get a breather, right? What I saw here was that Claressa Shields had stamina issues, bro.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
she needed a breather. This is something I've never seen before. I don't recall Claressa Shields needing a breather in her fights.
No.
And she fought the same way she fights everybody else. She would go in there, volume would be too much, and athleticism would be too much for the girls that she was fighting.
Yeah.
It was no different.
No.
But in this fight, she lacked the stamina to keep up the same work rate that she normally does. So what did she do? She put her back up against the ropes. And when she did that, Savannah had opportunities to land punches. Now, I had seen one dumb comment from a woman. She said, everyone talking about the ropes, the ropes, the ropes. The ropes didn't beat her. Like, she really, I was like, what the fuck is this dumb bitch talking about? Yeah, nigga, we know the ropes didn't beat her. But the fucking idea of getting on the ropes and not returning any fire and acting as if you're Muhammad Ali trying to rope a dope a nigga, that shit didn't work. Savannah was tagging Claressa Shields up against the ropes. Guess what else happened? That was just the first thing I saw. The second thing I saw was Claressa Shields, even in the middle of the ring, was losing the battle in the second half of the fight. Savannah Marshall was dictating the pace in the second half of the fight. Go back and watch like rounds 7 and 8, bro. Savannah Marshall was dictating the pace in the middle of the ring of that fight. I recall seeing some professional fighters saying Savannah wasn't even hitting her. Really? So how did her right eye get swole up then? What was it? Hugging that allowed that to happen? Just like some nigga on Facebook tried to say Devin Haney clinches too much. He ain't no real fighter. Okay, so that's why George Kambosos was in the ring looking like this nigga got jumped by 4 Devin Haneys. That's what he looked like. Devin Haney's holding made that nigga look like he got jumped. Just like WOE just said, Savannah missed a lot. So did Claressa in the second half of that fight. Actually, I'll submit and say Claressa was wild as shit. I saw a bunch of swinging wild hooks missing against Savannah Marshall. She was ducking under all them hoes.
Yep.
Catching them on her glove and her elbow in the second half of that fight. I saw Savannah Marshall land more telling shots in several rounds in the second half of that fight. I did.
I agree.
There's no way you could give Savannah Marshall 1 round, bro. That you just don't know what the fuck you watched. I don't care how much of boxing you think you know. If you sat there and gave Savannah Marshall 1 round, this one went over your head, guy.
Shit, if you gave her only 2 rounds, it went over your head.
It went over your fucking head, bro. Savannah won at least 4 rounds, guys. Because I had no problem if they would have came back and said this was a draw. I had no problem with that. Yes, I had Claressa Shields winning. But if they would have came back and said, man, this is close, bro. You know, it's a draw. I would have had no problem with that. I would have had no problem with that. WOE, go watch the fight again. That second half was so telling. And I saw a lot of flaws in Claressa Shields. A lot. 4 criteria of judging, guys. Ring generalship, accurate punching, defense, and effective aggression. You got to use those 4 criteria before you say somebody won a round 10-9. In the second half of that fight, for most of those rounds, Savannah Marshall was 100% winning the ring generalship battle. She was winning the defensive battle. And a lot of people are going to disagree with that. But the reason why I say she was winning it is because Claressa Shieds was no longer able to hit Savannah Marshall as easily as she was in the first half of the fight.
Agreed.
So that means Savannah Marshall made some changes.
Agreed.
Not only that, Savannah Marshall was able to hit Claressa Shieds more in the second half of the fight than she was in the first. So that means Claressa Shieds' accuracy went down while Savannah's went up. And then you got effective aggression. Who was on the back foot the most in the second half of that fight? Claressa. There's no way you could give her 1 round. There's no way you can give her 2 rounds. 3, okay, we can start there. 3 rounds. But 1 and 2 rounds, atrocious. Go watch the fight again. Because Claressa was doing what Mikaela Mayer fucking did against Baumgardner in the second half of the fight. She was giving up rounds. And I was pissed, nigga. Not because I was going for Claressa. I was pissed because I hate seeing fighters having a flawless game plan and then abandon the flawless game plan because of maybe poor conditioning, because of emotion, or whatever the fuck the reason is. I hate seeing that shit. And that's what Claressa Shieds did in the second half. And that's why this fight was close. Claressa could have won this fight 100-90, guys.
Yeah.
She could have swept Savannah Marshall 100-90. But she gave up rounds in the second half and made the fight closer than what it needed to be. GWOAT. Is she the GWOAT? In terms of accolades, yes. But I always tell people, man, the women of yesteryear were not trying to do the things that Claressa Shieds is doing today. Women of yesteryear did not fight for undisputed. They weren't even trying for that. The women of yesteryear didn't really hold the WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBF. Yes, some of them had those titles, but the title is WIBA. I think it was WIBA, WIBO, right?
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
Those were the women's versions of the major titles back then. They were holding those titles. Michael Ben, I don't know what you're talking about. Shut the fuck up, nigga. We said she won. Shut the fuck up. The black girl still won. Ha ha ha. She still won. Ha ha. Shut the fuck up, nigga. We said she won. What are you doing? This nigga's is stupid, bro. We said she won. I even predicted she would win. We're not going against her. What are you talking? What are you doing? Shut the fuck up and listen, dummy. Anyway, man. But the girls back then weren't doing. They weren't even trying to attempt what Claressa Shieds was doing. Why do you think that the first undisputed champion was fucking Cecilia Brækhus? Why do you think that?
Very good point.
Cecilia Brækhus, when did she become undisputed? 2014?
I think, yeah, she was in PS for a long time.
Women's boxing started out, what? When did they start? In the 80s? Yeah, the 80s. Women's boxing started in the 80s. So why did it take until 2014 to have the first undisputed champion in women's boxing? Because the women weren't trying to do that. So when guys say, man, Claressa Shieds, 3-time undisputed champion, man, oh my God. You got to look at it. You got to look at the context, guys. Yes, it's good, but they weren't doing that shit back then. They weren't even looking to do it. So you can't say Claressa Shields is better than Ann Wolfe, for example, because she's undisputed 3 times. You can't say that.
No.
Because Ann Wolfe, if she was trying for it, she probably could have done the same fucking thing. She wasn't trying for that. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, if you want to say in terms of accolades, yeah, you can give her the GOAT for that, because now we're in a new era, and now women's boxing, they are going for undisputed, right? That's fine. She's the most accomplished women's fighter of all time. Sure, no problem. Just understand the caveat there that women's boxing, they were not trying to do that in the 90s and the 80s or even the early 2000s. They weren't trying to do that. In terms of skill, I'm sorry, guys. She does not beat Ann Wolfe. Ann Wolfe in her prime would knock Claressa Shields out, guys.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Ann Wolfe in her prime, the way Claressa Shields fought the second half of this Savannah Marshall fight, she knocks her out, guys. She knocks her out. And Ann Wolfe and Claressa Shields were in the same division at one point, right? Ann Wolfe held belts at 168 and 175, actually simultaneously. She was a 2-division champion as an active fighter, holding belts in both divisions, moving up and down, defending her titles at will. Right?
Yep.
Claressa first became a unified champion at 168. So those two could have, let's say hypothetically they were in the same, era, and they were in their prime. Those two could have met. And I'm picking Ann Wolfe by knockout. She's not better than her, skill-wise.
No.
That's why
Great.
I can't give her the GOAT. I don't have her better than Ann Wolfe skill-wise, guys. And like I said, I'll repeat this because niggas are stupid. Yes, it's great that she's a 3-time undisputed champion. Absolutely excellent. However, it really only matters in this era because girls of yesteryear, the women of yesteryear, were not going for that accolade. It was not for them to go for that accolade. They weren't even trying. It wasn't even on the radar of any woman who fought in the 2000s, the 90s, and the 80s. But as of today, I've got Claressa Shields pound for pound number 1 after this fight. Absolutely. Katie Taylor, a very, very close second. To the point where all Katie Taylor really needs to do is fight, the winner of McCaskill and Chantel Cameron. And if she wins, she's probably number 1 again. But Claressa's, she's running women's boxing as of right now, bro. Excellent win for her.
Here's the thing, and I want to go back to something. They didn't have undisputed back then like they do now. They didn't have, because you didn't have the WBO. They didn't have belts for women like they did. Because I understand they just came up with a WBC women's belt as of late, and then they actually came up with one where they gave them a regular WBC belt. Remember, the women's belt looked different than the men's belt. Now, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the first person to receive a regular form style belt for women's boxing was Jessica McCaskill.
Yeah.
So they just came up with a regular style belt for the women, but you didn't have undisputed like that. And you're absolutely right. You didn't have undisputed because you didn't have governing sanctioned bodies that was recognized like you did in the men. You didn't have a WBC. You didn't have a WBO, a WBA, and IBF. You didn't have that. It just wasn't there. You had the like you said, WBI, BF,
WIBA, some shit like that.
Right,
WIBA,
WIWF, some shit. It was all kind of shit.
Yeah.
Right? IBA and all, it was all kind of shit. So you didn't have the sanctioning bodies that was being recognized for you to even have because like you at one point, like you just mentioned, Ann Wolfe had like 3 belts per division in both 160 and 175.
Right.
Because she was chasing Layla Ali ass.
To them back then, it was more so jumping divisions and becoming multiple divisional champions.
Exactly.
That's what it was for them back in those days.
That's what it was for them.
It wasn't
back
about
in the day.
undisputed.
100% correct, right? But from what I saw in this fight, she doesn't beat up in her prime Layla Ali. Understand? Layla Ali was excellent with that jab. Understand that.
Agreed.
Layla Ali was excellent with her jab. Layla Ali always made sure the fight was at mid-range, and she always had distance. She didn't engage in that Savannah Marshall engaged in. So that Claressa Shieds, I saw, oh man, Layla Ali nullifies the volume with that jab.
Yep.
She nullifies it with that jab. Right? So, and greatest woman of all time. Only for this era right here. Give it to her for this era. Now understand, this was the fight. This was the fight we wanted her to have, which was Savannah Marshall. Me and Prodigy had been saying this back when Savannah Marshall up there campaigned at 168, 175. We was like, no, that's the girl Claressa Shields needs to fight. Right after she beat Christina Hammer, we was like, that's the girl Claressa Shields needs to fight. She needs to fight. That's who she needs to fight next. That's her rival. Right? So I give her props. She fought her and she beat her. Right? But then this goes back to the mindset of Savannah Marshall. The mistakes that was being made by Shields, Marshall didn't capitalize on. And she didn't. And it might be because the Claressa came out the gate so early in the first half of the fight with that hand speed, with those counters, that even when Marshall made her miss, she was worried about coming back with something because Claressa was punching, was countering with her, right? But if you only gave her one round 7 through 10, you can make the argument. And from at least round 7 to 9, you can make the argument Marshall won. For me, it was like round 7 to 10.
Yeah. I'm
like, shit, 7 to 10, she had it.
Yeah.
She had 7 to 10, it was all Marshall. It was all Marshall. So for me, you know, now it's about what happens next. And then this came up at the end of the fight. Savannah Marshall never would. Claressa even brought it up. She's talking about retiring. She shouldn't retire, but if that's what she wants to do, then I respect it. Savannah Marshall never even pushed back on that when she got up to the mic. She didn't even push back on it like, I'm not retiring. All she said was she hinted something like, well, we'll have to see if I can win a third one. That's all she kind of, but she never even hinted. She never even pushed back on, I'm not retiring. I'm going to stay and fight. I got more fights. I'm not. She didn't do none of that. And this goes to what me and Prodigy talked about the mental makeup of Savannah Marshall. Right? Now, what does Claressa Shields do next? If I'm Claressa Shields, this is going to be a kick in the gut. And I don't know if you guys saw. Did y'all see Franchon Cruz with her little nigga?
Yeah, we saw her.
Did you see?
My wife was clowning, bro. Yeah, we saw that shit. Every time I see that dude, man, I think about the boxing expo, man. This nigga, bro, I didn't even know. I thought that was her little brother, man, for real. Little itty bitty ass nigga. That shit don't make no sense, man.
I can see Claressa Shields going to 168 and fighting Franchon Cruz for the undisputed.
I can see that too. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that too, bro.
Understand, they fought before. And this is what makes me mad about her not wanting to pick a winner between Spence and them. Shields don't give a fuck about that. Like, the one thing I got to give her is she will speak her mind. Just like, because, you know, you got Amanda Serrano over there calling her the GOAT, saying that's her best friend and all of that. What did Shields say? Hey, man, Amanda's doing a disservice to boxing being with some fucking Jake Paul.
Sure did.
Claressa didn't care about that friendship.
Called her ass out. Told her you should not be fighting on the undercard of Jake Paul. Called her ass out. Yep.
She didn't give a shit about that friendship shit on that right there.
Yep.
Right? So I could definitely see her saying, hey, you know what? Franchon, you know, let's do it one more time. You undisputed, I'm undisputed, undisputed versus undisputed. Let's fight. I'm not gonna see her doing that. Because that's the type of person she is. So, and then that will add even more to her GOAT status. She's able to do what she's able to do in boxing, because understand, man, from 154 really on up, man, it's thin. It really is. It's thin with names. It's thin with people she could fight and who she could fight, right? She mentioned in the interview probably fighting Raquel Miller. And she said she's gonna try to get down to 147 to fight Jessica McCaskill. I don't think that happens. She can't make 147. She can't make that.
Yep. Damn it. WOE taking my shit. I was getting ready to say that next, but we'll go ahead. Finish your point, bro.
Right. Okay, so that's what I think she's gonna do next, man. But I mean, look, man. At the end of the day, it was a good win for her. She went over there and she won that fight. But Savannah Marshall definitely fought the wrong fight. And if you are someone out here who's telling me Savannah only won one round, or Savannah Marshall is a bum, or she's a sorry fighter, all right, man. Just you know what? Just hey, hashtag your name right now so I know who you are, and we will never talk boxing. I will save that right up here, and we'll never talk boxing, nigga. I don't even care if you on my side. I'll still never. Oh, I agree with you, boy. Nigga. I'll delete your comment. Don't agree with me, nigga. I don't need you to agree with me.
Man, Savannah Marshall is a great fighter, bro, and she showed it tonight or today. You know what I'm saying? Two things that she showed is that the bitch is extremely tough.
Yeah,
that's one big thing that she showed. She's extremely fucking tough. Another thing that she showed is that she can adjust when she's losing a fight. She doesn't get mentally dejected and just continue to get dominated. She makes adjustments. We saw that, right? We also saw a little bit of her ring IQ. You know what I'm saying? How good her ring IQ is. She's a great fighter. The fuck?
That's something Claressa called into question too. I remember that.
She sure did. Yeah, and Claressa can't call that into question no more after giving up all them rounds. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, she's a great fighter, bro. She's gritty. She's got heart. She has an excellent fucking chin, right? Oh, she got a hell of a gas tank too. We thought she was tired. This motherfucker got a second win in the second half of the fight. She's a great fighter. What are you talking about, guys? You're actually demoralizing the win for Claressa Shields. You're denigrating the win. You're devaluing the win by saying Savannah Marshall sucks. She doesn't suck. She's a great fighter. Claressa beat her. What the fuck, man? I don't know, man. These niggas, man. But my man WOE, he said, I think Claressa will wait for Shadaysha Green to get the belts and go to 168. He said the next biggest fight in women's boxing, hopefully. Shadaysha Green, if she turns out to be what I think she is, that's the next Ann Wolf, everyone. That motherfucker right there is dropping these motherfuckers, bro. That's a bad motherfucker. Now, we haven't seen her against the top.
Right.
So we need to see what she can do further. Right? We need to see her against some of the better women in boxing. But if she is what I think she can be, that's the next Ann Wolf right there. Shadaysha Green. Remember that fucking name, man. And yeah, that's a fight I would like to see down the road. Absolutely. I don't want Claressa getting too old and getting her body torn up through PFL or anything like that, right? But yeah, if Shadaysha still needs to prove herself. I think Shadaysha should get in there and fight Franchon Cruz before Claressa gets to her. And if that can happen, and Shadaysha, let's say Shadaysha just runs through her ass, oh yeah, give me that. Give me that fight. Give me that shit, dog. Paying for that.
Yep. Shit, nigga, I'm gonna try to go to it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Try to go to it.
But until Shadaysha Green proves herself, and if she's, she proves herself and she shows that she is good enough to be that second coming of Ann Wolf, until that happens, Claressa really, I don't know where she goes. I think the Raquel Miller fight should have already happened. Raquel Miller has been out of boxing and shit. She's over there vacationing all over the world. She ain't. Nah, man. It's not the right time for that fight. I really don't. Who, Natasha Jonas at 154? No. You know what I'm saying? I don't see where Claressa Shields goes to get a real fucking challenge. I think what Bo said at 168, Franchon Cruz, that is a target. But yeah, I there's really nowhere else for her to go, bro. I think she should go. I don't know, man. I was gonna say I think she should go hang around PFL for a while, but I don't want her to do that either, because I don't want her to lose focus on boxing. because she's doing MMA, and then also I don't want her tearing her body up in MMA. You see what I'm saying?
That takes a lot out of you, really.
Yeah.
The type of fighting they do.
Yeah, so I don't know, dog. Like, I don't know where she goes. She's beating everybody, bro. Everybody that matters at this point in time, anyway.
That's true. But I do want to tell y'all, there's a new fine motherfucker in boxing, y'all.
No, we're gonna hold that off, nigga. That's my shit. You're not taking that from me.
Oh,
No, you're not taking that from me, bro. No, sir. I'm tired of you taking my shit. Now I'm putting my fucking foot down. You're not taking that one from me, bro.
oh, okay, dog.
That's mine. Hell no.
This nigga has put an executive decision on my
I
ass.
be sitting back holding my tongue like, this nigga done took another one of my goddamn points, nigga. I ain't say nothing, you know, because I could just come up with some new ones. But that one right there, no sir, nigga, that's mine, bro. You're not taking that one. Hell no. Get your own shit, nigga.
Hey man, Hannah Gabriel's got a little old on me, man.
Man, get your own shit, nigga. Fuck that.
That's what's up, man. All right, man. Listen, y'all know what to do, man. Go to 3kingsboxing.com for latest grades. What's going on in the sport of boxing? All right, shout out to everybody that, you know, all you guys in the chat, everybody over at 3 Kings, man. Shout out to my man Prodigy, man, for being here. And we tell y'all, man, hey, we give y'all these breakdowns. Now, understand, we may not always get our picks right, but you do realize these fighters do exactly what we say they need to do to fucking win, right?
Yeah.
These niggas are doing exactly what we fucking say these niggas need to do to win.
Pretty much, man. That's what it is. That's what
so
matters.
give us a 0.5, give us a half a point, nigga, for what the fuck we got
man,
going
look,
on.
man, I'm about to tell these niggas to ignore your picks, nigga. Anthony Dirrell. I'm not letting you let that down, bro. What the fuck? And I was doing everything in my power to get you to change that shit. Like, and what? Anthony Dirrell? Why are you doing this, Bo? What the fuck, nigga? It's like you got some pussy or something, and that shit clouded your judgment. That's what it was like. Like a bitch was standing right there in front of you, and she had a pussy in your face. She was like, "You better pick Anthony," and you was like, sorry, fellas, I gotta go with Darrell." And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm saying all the logical shit that should be said to get you to change your mind, and you still said, but I just think Darrell gonna catch. I'm convinced. A woman was there that day, nigga. We just didn't see her. She was off camera. She was off camera. We didn't see her.
I will say I got a video exclusive earlier.
Well, then, that
show.
makes fucking sense then.
I will say that.
She was telling your ass she ain't going to send it to you unless you pick Anthony Dirrell. That's what happened. Y'all know what to do, man. Also, follow us on Twitter at 3kingsboxing, Instagram at 3kingsboxing, right here on Facebook.com/3kingsboxing. Also, hit the subscribe button to this YouTube channel, Prodigy of Boxing Talk. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Also, the link will be in the description. It's not there right now, but I'll put it in there later. It's a link to the 3 Kings Boxing YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button there and the notification bell there, so you'll know when we go live or we start going live on that channel as well. All right. Appreciate everybody that was in the chat, everybody that gave their opinions, even the niggas I ended up blocking. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody that came through. A lot of you guys stuck around for the whole 2 hours. That's actually pretty amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate that shit. We always go live every Tuesday and Friday, 5:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Central Time, 2:30 Pacific. All right? Until the next one, we out.